doing?
Just showing it out there first. Before you get started. Okay.
Maybe see me, but I don't know if they're gonna see you. I'm gonna have to sit up. Yeah, we're pretty shadowed.
Should I zoom in on us?
Hmm? Yeah, maybe. Yeah. You're gonna have to tip it up or something.
I think it needs to be zoomed out. Okay, we got it. And then tipped up. We're professionals, folks. Please.
This is not my beer.
Okay, let's just go all the way up. Come on. It'll be all right. It's just a small screen. This is what it's designed for.
There.
Okay.
Beverage. Okay. Ready? Do I know a good editor? Ready?
Okay, let's say what we're doing.
We've been on the road. How many days? I mean, let's look at that.
Today's Saturday.
We left on the...
And Monday will be 4 weeks.
What?
So 3 days shy of a month.
So 26 days. Okay, ready we go. Just a little
Recap.
VanGo recap of our 26 days on the road. I hate slouching, but I want everybody to see you.
A little bit. No, we have lots of headroom, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
See, we're professionals.
I know, but okay. Anyway, all right. You can't put any of this. No outtakes. Okay.
It's all live. One take.
Right.
One take recap of 1 month on the road. Ready, go.
VanGoNow. Just a little recap of our first month out on the road. And we departed on March 5th. And our first destination was to visit Lewis's dad in Mighton, Utah. And why don't you tell him a little bit about your dad?
He's 96 years old, lives in Mighton, Utah. Still lives in his home, his house. So, yeah, so that was the first trip. Leg one, Mighton, Utah.
Mighton, Utah. And we also had a chance to visit with Lewis's oldest brother, Danny, and his sister, Kathleen. And then we headed on out to Salt Lake City. And who do we see in Salt Lake City?
My son, Cole, and our dear friends, George and Alicia Odell. We made a quick stop there overnight and off. The journey began then.
And the journey really did begin then. And then we headed that night off to Moab. And our first overnight was in an RV park there. And it was mostly because we were still winterized. But that was our first night in the rig, and we love our road trek, and then we slept really great that night. And the next morning we got up early and excited to go visit
the next place that we were going to go visit.
Arches National Monument. We did a quick tour through there.
But before I forget, we should try to tell one anecdote from every place. I don't think we'll be able to remember one from every place. But the first night we rolled in late to Moab to the RV camping place, which we don't like to do RV camping anyway. And we went to lot 12 and we pulled in, and it was a piece of concrete about 100 yards long, 30 yards wide. Unbelievable, like an airport. And right next to us was Class A, huge, with a trailer. It turns out it was like a luxury RV camping place, and that was lot 12 for the people that owned lots there. Our lot 12
like timeshare lot
was like down in the dirt, and we went down there and parked. But it was funny because I looked out and it was the most enormous rig you've ever seen. Anyway, I
had to chuckle because I thought, oh, this is what Lewis is going to think all RV parks are like.
Yeah, it was a luxury condominium RV park in Moab, Utah. Anyway, night one, down off to Arches. Arches is amazing. We don't have to say much about that, do we? Except for
we chose not to spend a lot of time there because it is only 3 hours from our home, and we can explore that on shorter journeys. So we thought it might be a good idea to venture out, and then we headed to from Moab. We went to a location that Lewis had visited with a friend of ours on an earlier trip, and Butler Wash? Is that
Butler
called?
Wash Ruins in Cedar Mesa in central Utah. Great place to go. Nobody's there. And so that was a great place to
It was
park.
like a rest area, and it had a pit toilet, but we took like a really short hike, and we were able to see some ruins right away. So that was
amazing ruins. So that's a great place in central Utah if you ever want to camp for free with an improved toilet. I mean, it's just a pit toilet, but it's still improved. It's flat, and hikes everywhere, and lots of amazing ruins and sand rock. Is Cedar Mesa, south and east of Bluff, Utah. So that was night 2.
Yeah, night 2. And then that next morning we took off, and we thought we were at the rest area that you had been at with our friend, and then it turns out that it was one more up, and that was the one with the kiva, and they have a really great spot for you to go, and they've recreated some of the ancient ruins, so you can just walk around, and it's right there in the rest area, and accessible for people with physical challenges.
They restored the whole kiva, so you can.
Yeah,
you
and some of the sites, so you could see the size of the buildings, and then I always like to look at the historical maps and stuff that they put up there to give you a better idea about what you're witnessing. So.
And I'm just trying to bring up photos because that would be another way I could remember what we did on a certain date. Because I'll be so amazed if we can make it to. There's no way we can remember all these places.
I bet I'll put a beer on that one.
Okay, so we're just day 2, Cedar Mesa. Day 3, and we went through
natural
bridges and a national park.
That was an amazing place. And you said you hadn't spent much time there, having grown up in Utah, and it was just a precursor to the big hole in the ground that we were going to see a few days later. But we went through natural bridges, and that night, do you remember where we were at that night?
No, but Natural Bridges is awesome. It's just a few miles down the road from Cedar Mesa, but it's a national park, isn't it? If not, it's a state park, and it's really well done, and it's all of these like arches, they call them natural bridges, and it's stunning and phenomenal. But this whole entire trip was stunning and phenomenal, so just get used to hearing that word over and over. Natural Bridges was amazing. Then heading south, is that when they went off the Moki Dugway? It is. Mm-hmm. You head south out of Natural Bridges, and you go off. You drop off these giant plateaus, and the last one is the Moki Dugway, and it's the most hair-raising, super narrow dirt road with a vista that goes on for miles.
Which was beautiful, but at the top, the good news is you can see the vehicles coming up, because a lot of
one
way. So you have to wait for somebody to come up, and hopefully the people at the bottom are paying attention too. So we waited till we would have plenty of time to get down, and there is where we met some folks from Denmark, and we chatted with them, and they had spent the night before and highly recommended Goosenecks to us.
And Goosenecks, they said you got to go to Goosenecks. Just don't even know what Goosenecks is, and I'm from Utah, and now we're down by the Utah-Arizona border, and the Goosenecks State Park
used to be a national monument, but
I think it's run by the Navajos now. But anyway, we wandered into this place, total dumb luck, and probably one of the most amazing places you could possibly ever go and camp. Goosenecks State Park.
But what makes it so amazing? It's
1,000 foot down, and it's a what do you call them? Horseshoe bend. They have amazing places with one horseshoe bend, but this has one, and then it has another, and it might even have 3. Regardless, it's 2 or 3 giant 1,000 foot deep horseshoes, and you can drive out and park at the end or out on these in between on the horseshoes.
Well, I think we've got a little something to tell about that, because we parked literally 6 feet off the edge of this cliff, and it was so amazing because we had the back open like this, and we had these vistas of beautiful scenery, and that night we pretty much had the place to ourselves. There was like one other camper at the time when we went to sleep, and when we woke up in the middle of the night, the whole Roadtrip was shaking because the wind was gusting up the side of the cliff, and we ended up in the middle of the night having to pull forward, and then we had no problem, but it was trying to shake us off the mountain. It really
There's
was.
no way it could have shaken us off the cliff, but got
It
into
sure
our
did feel
heads.
like it.
Got into our heads it could possibly happen, and at 3 in the morning I pulled ahead 20 feet, which, by the way, the van stopped shaking violently. And I mean, we are parked on the edge of this precipice. Anyway, it's an amazing place to go. Go to Goosenecks, and the woman that is at the gate in the little booth that charges you to go in and out of there, which is a whopping $10 a night. She works 7 days a week, and she's the only employee. She's Native American, and she's done it, Marie, and she's done it for 3 years. So go say hi to Marie.
At Goosenecks. Well, and then as we're leaving, we're
only on day 3. This is going to take 2 hours. This tape. We got to speed it up somehow.
Okay, we're not fast enough. Okay. Well, you can't spend 30 days on the road going to see amazing places and be fast.
Let's try to be really fast. Okay, Goosenecks was amazing. Next.
Now, Goosenecks was amazing because it would have been a national park for one of those horseshoes, but we're backing out and it's 3 horseshoes, and it is a must-see. Put it on your bucket list. On we go. Mexican Hat.
Oh yeah, Mexican Hat. The rock that looks a rock that sits up on a rock that looks like roughly like a Mexican hat, but there's all sorts of rocks on rocks down there. But that's
off to Mexican Hat. We'll off past that. No.
I did a nice drone fly around.
Then off to Monument Valley, and the quick takeout from that is it says no RVs, but the Road Trek 4-wheel drive. Boom! And we went and we did the whole loop, and it was a good testimony to good packing because our dishes did not break.
And I mean, very rough roads, but amazingly beautiful. Monument Valley. I've never been through it. It's stunning. Is that where we did that the same day?
Yeah, we did all that in the same day. We're busy folks.
Okay, then what happened? Then we went to...
After Monument Valley, we ended up heading towards Joshua Tree, right?
See, so we don't have any internet reception. If we did, we would know everything. But, okay, we're already on day, what, 5?
No.
4? Okay, we left Goosenecks, stunned.
Goosenecks.
Best place in the world.
Thank you, Max, for helping us out here.
I knew this would happen on day 4, and we're going to go to 23.
Monument Valley. Hang on.
Where was that?
Oh, Grand Canyon.
Oh,
how did we miss that?
Whatever. Someone, who cares? Okay, we went to this big crack in the earth. Next.
So we get there and it's raining
and foggy,
and we haven't had a shower, and you can't. We go out to the lookout, and Lewis has never been there before, and he can't even see the grandness of it because it was so socked in. They've never had it socked in so much. So we decided to spend the night. And
we spent 2 nights in Grand Canyon, then we left. But the highlights were flew over it in a helicopter. Second highlight was it's the most amazing goddamn thing in the whole world. So
you can't cuss.
Enough said. It's just you can't say about it. We're gonna have photos in some kind of way that will link to all this. But okay, Grand Canyon. Enough said. Go try to avoid the crowds. Unbelievable. One of the best sunsets of my lifetime. Almost frozen to death.
Have reservations. That's really important. And then after we left Grand Canyon, we headed to Joshua Tree.
Okay, and guess what? I got photos, so I'm going to be able to be...
He'll be better off.
I'm going to be super helpful now because...
and I did a series of postcards everywhere we went to my son who just moved to Japan, so that's why I'm looking at postcards. But Lewis doesn't want this to be long, but I have to tell you, we were done with Grand Canyon, and we were driving out, and one of the things I wanted to do was do the helicopter ride, and Lewis agreed to it. It was so last minute, and it was epic. So
hey, you know what? We can be all super, whatever. Look, I'm gonna start showing photos. Wouldn't that have been good if we'd have thought of this earlier? There we are, ready to go in the helicopter. Okay.
Woo-hoo!
Okay, this is gonna be a great visual aid. I'm sure you at home, wading through this horrible video, will appreciate this.
So then we went to the Grand Canyon, and then we went to Joshua Tree, which is another place you need to have a reservation. Oh yeah, beautiful sunset.
The sunset where we almost froze to death, but it was the best sunset ever over the Grand Canyon. Next, let's keep going. Where were we?
Yeah, we went. Now then we were driving to Joshua Tree, and Joshua Tree has some two campgrounds or 2 or 3 campgrounds you can make reservations, but most of them are first come, first serve. And those are the ones that are within the property and are really amazing. And if you've got time, you can kind of linger around, get there early in the morning and see who's leaving and try to get a site. Or you can make reservations, which I highly recommend, because I went there with my daughter and we couldn't stay anywhere near it. So, and then we went through. We spent 2 nights.
We got winterized. You don't even tell them. We got de-winterized in Needles. After Grand Canyon, because I especially liked. We got this rambling Ron. I won't even say where he got us de-winterized, but that's why, because it was all under control. And
anyway, they were very nice there, and we'll talk about them later. And then we loved Joshua Tree. We were there 2 nights, and we had a great campsite in the boulders.
What is this? This is where we were.
We went to Kelso Dunes, and then we went to Joshua Tree, because
Kelso Dunes before
we got there.
Joshua
We got there
Tree.
early because we got there a day before a reservation. That's what it was. So, all right, best campsite ever, free.
Kelso
roadside.
Dunes. We're gonna do this from now on. We've been doing this all along. What have we missed? You almost need to go back. We're not going to. Anyway, that's Kelso Dunes. Great, free in the Mojave Preserve.
In the Mojave Preserve, Kelso Dunes. There you go. Give them that.
We'll put up like a route map, so that makes all this makes sense too.
Yeah, they're probably
super
thinking we're crazy. And then we went to then we spent 2 nights in Joshua Tree, and you go through some really crazy things.
Drone shot of Kelso Dunes. Okay, not supposed to fly the drone there.
No, we found out that later. We thought it was okay because it was a preserve and not the national park.
And we thought that most rules applied to everyone else but us. That's where.
What?
Is this Kelso Dunes?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
These have to all be pre-approved before that can be displayed.
Yes.
That doesn't get to be. Anyway, Kelso Dunes, Mojave Preserve, then onward to.
Okay, we'll go back about the Mojave because we go back there. But then we go to Joshua Tree, a great representation of a lot of high desert Joshua trees, several different varieties of cactus, several different types of landscapes. Large, huge boulders, great roads, go see it. And then we did a quick stop over in Palm Springs, saw some friends, and then we went from there down, and we were again a day earlier than our reservations, so we did a quick online search and ended up staying at a park that was in our series, and then we decided we didn't want to spend another night there. But then we started kind of our journey along the west coast at Crystal Cove, and Crystal Cove was probably one of the best paid campsites that we've been on. Everything's on a bluff, and you overlook the ocean. Mm-hmm. And
could you hear the train there?
No.
It was one of the only places on the coast that you didn't hear a train every 30 minutes, so that was pleasant.
Yeah. And then we did Crystal Cove, and then Duhaney, which is right on the beach, and it was spring break, so we got to enjoy our time there with a lot of other families with little kids, and we decided to let them entertain us.
Did we already go by that?
We did, but we're going to go back to it because we're going back to Kelso. We're going to go back to the Mojave.
Okay.
And I'm just trying to run through California really
let's
quickly.
get the coastline.
Yeah.
We got the
and then we did a special night stop. I had some points, so we stayed at the Ritz Carlton in Laguna, and they have an absolutely stunning beach, and we've visited there before, and we really liked it. So it was Dana Point, and but it's called the Ritz Carlton Laguna Beach. So, but beautiful. But it's called the Monarch Beach, but really lovely. And then we went down from there, and I'm not gonna remember how to say the other places. So we stayed at 2 more camps, state park camps. The hard thing in California is you have to have reservations because there is no boondocking anywhere near the water. It's just not happening. If you want a boondock in California, welcome to Walmart. And
which we never did.
We didn't do that. We had reservations all down the coast. Visited a few friends on the way through there. Ended up a little bit above San Diego. We'll put it on our little notes in the website where we actually stayed.
All the different places.
Yeah, all the different places. But the big theme for us was we really got tired of the humanity really quickly. And we had enjoyed so much our time out in the desert like this when we're all by yourself. So we made a choice and decided to depart California. And
left here.
Yeah, go show them that.
That's Dana Point. But that was by far the best you could do in California. But then after that, it's too noisy, too close to the train, too many people. We went back to the desert.
We really couldn't believe people actually had tents right next to where the trains were running. I mean, we were like 5 rows over, and we were hearing it inside of our cab, but we couldn't believe that they could be camping there and enjoying themselves. It was
too noisy.
Too crazy. Big train coming right by you. So choo-choo. And so we choo-chooed out of there and made a choice to go back. We had enjoyed the Mojave Natural Preserve so much that we decided we wanted to go back and see more of it because we only saw a tiny, tiny fraction of it because it was a quick stopover because we were a night early for Joshua. So we went back and we actually stayed at Kelso Dunes again because we got there late in the evening and we knew where to go. And we stayed on the same road. Not as great a campsite, but that night. And then we went to the visitor center, grabbed a map, and we went everywhere that we could possibly, every road we could possibly go down.
In the Mojave Preserve.
In the Mojave Preserve. A little bit of excitement there. We learned that when the van is going up hills in turbo, our coolant light comes on once in a while.
It's easy to overheat.
Easy to overheat. So we had to stop on the side of the road, on a dirt road, wondering if anybody might come by if we were really having problems. But
in the Mojave Desert, on a back road.
That was, you know what, that was a real testimony to how well we traveled together because neither one of us got freaked out about that. We figured we had lots of water with us, we had lots of food with us, we had a place to sleep, and we figured a ranger would come by if we were really in trouble.
But it was kind of uptight because the road we stopped on was so narrow. It was one lane and it was super sandy. Yeah. So it all worked out just fine. But
it didn't seem to be narrow enough for the guy at the pickup that blew by us.
But we found out that you have to drive the van a certain way when it's uphill and you can't. I don't know. It's hard to describe. You can't get enough speed. You want to run along with higher RPMs.
Right. So then we leave the Mojave after a wonderful day, but it's late in the afternoon, and our intent had been to just avoid Las Vegas completely because we were like our badge just says no humanity. But we decided a shower night, and I was up for a laundry night to give Vegas a quick stopover because it was the first place really to stay that had laundry and all, etc. And I had stayed there before, so I knew where to go. And we just stayed on the outskirts. And I got a text from one of my dearest friends, and they were left a day early on their vacation. We had come out of the desert, and we were literally across the street from each other. And so that was a big treat to be able to see our friends. And then after that, we left and we headed out. And one of the most beautiful things about this trip is we really haven't set destinations for probably 80% of it. You know, California, we had reservations, but we just kind of drive until we see a place that we think we might be interested in, or if it's getting late in the day enough, we might hit up a state park or something. But
well, like the Valley of Fire that we went to next, we were in Las Vegas reluctantly just to do some laundry, and we're just looking how to get away from it and around it and go north. That's all we were looking for, and saw the Valley of Fire. Never thought about it, never heard about it.
little green spot on the map.
Turned out to be just a stunningly amazing park.
Why would you ever leave Vegas and not drive through Lake Mead National Park?
Oh yeah, because the main road that I've been on many times goes straight north. I think it's I-15 anyway.
Big trucks passing you.
It's a freeway, and then if you go over this way, it goes through the Lake Mead Parkway or something, and then into the Valley of Fire. And either way, it's like a 30-minute difference detour, and yet it's stunningly beautiful. The Lake Mead Parkway was stunningly beautiful drive out of Las Vegas. Who would have thought? Yeah. And then into the Valley of Fire State Park, we'd never heard of. Some people put it on their bucket lists. It's amazing. We stayed 3 days because
we loved it. It was the longest stay we had on the whole journey, and they have the same policy, no reservations. But we boondocked just outside of the park, which wasn't really hard to find. And the next morning, we'd gotten that advice from somebody that said, if you boondock and get in early and circle the campground and find out who's leaving, then you can usually score a spot. And we were able to. We saw somebody leaving. We went over, scored a spot. But
we went over at 7 a.m.
We did. We were there really early.
So you park outside of the
Valley of Fire
campground on the BLM. There's lots of places before, north and south of it, and then you roll in really early in the mornings and just drive in little circles, looking at the little tags and see who's checking out that day, and score it. And that's the only way they do it. They don't have online, and but then once you get it, you can just keep bumping it up to 14 days. We did it 3 days.
3 days, but we started on one campsite, and then we were looking to get a little power because we were having some challenges with our power. And wanted to actually hook up for the first time all month, right?
We've been 19 days and never had a problem. Then we had a little power. Our power went off on the 19th day, and it was like our batteries wouldn't recharge. They got so low. So we plugged into shore power with some nice people we met at Valley of Fire. And so from then on, we needed a site with power. And we were able to shuffle from the site we'd scored the first day to a site with power the second day. So
and then we did a ton of hiking, absolutely stunning representation, all different colors of rocks and formations and petroglyphs and I mean, it's just a really beautiful place.
And the campground was completely 360 surround of red rocks. Great facilities. We might mention all along the way when you're vanning, you're always trying to, when you're going to stay at an improved place and you're interested in the bathrooms and the showers, and they were the worst of worst. Were always California, had to put money in, and they were just dilapidated and disgusting. The best of the best is Valley of the Fire. Tiled floors, clean, no fees. It came included with a $20 or $30 fee.
We totally forgot Anazia Borrego.
Oh yeah, Anza Borrego. Like a whole other segment. Let's put that back. Where was that before?
That was before we went to
Valley of Fire. No, oh yeah, or Mojave.
No, Mojave.
Whatever. So there was a whole other natural preserve.
We had such a good time, we forgot about it.
Anza Borrego.
And we spent 2 nights there too.
And we spent 2 nights there, and that was coming out of San Diego. That's when we fled the coast because it was too crowded and too noisy and we just drove into this. Oh, what's this? Oh, it's the biggest, largest natural preserve in the United States. Yeah, that was phenomenal and amazing.
And started to see some blooming cactus, and I don't know, that got me pretty stoked.
Boy, we're out of sequence. I'm not going to edit this. So the best thing will be we'll have a map. We'll plot out our whole journey because we were talking about this. This is roughly a 30-day journey, 4 weeks. You could not improve the scenery. And this is the perfect route. Pick whatever you want to go on, but this loop is gorgeous everywhere on it. The coast, you have to have reservations, and you have to deal with what it is, the coast, with a train and tons of traffic. And if you want to go there, fine. If you don't, but anyway,
there's lots of places in California in the interior where you can do more boondocking. It's just along the coast that you're really king.
When we drove from the coast up out, that was beautiful. But how would you describe that area? We left from Dana Point. How far south were we?
No, we left almost to San Diego.
Almost to San Diego, going inland through those mountains, That was in Anza Borrego, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's
'Cause it's in
beautiful. That's
California.
beautiful. That's California, Southern California. Beautiful mountains. Anyway.
Great weather. We had great spring weather. Was that, and they had really cool metal sculptures out in the middle of the desert, which were really fun. We'll have some photos up about that too. And
another reason we left the coast is the beautiful thing about being in the van is we had 4 or 5 more days scheduled along the coast, and the storm front was coming in. It was getting cold, and you had to have your coat on. And we just drove over the mountain. And we're back into perfect 70-degree weather. We left
we do
the
have
coast.
a theme. We're trying to stay in the 72 degrees. So, and then, so not an Anza Borrego. How do you say it?
Anza Borrego.
Anza Borrego, and then we were over back into the Mojave
Preserve,
and then Las Vegas, and then
Valley of Fire,
Lake Mead, Valley of Fire, and we ended up leaving Valley of Fire. We were going to stay another day, and we decided we felt like we'd hiked it enough, and we wanted to give ourselves an extra day to come home so that we could see some amazing scenery in Utah on our way back. And we left Valley of Fire and ended up in a place I'd never heard of, coral pink sand dunes. And it is a pretty crazy...
it's a 7-mile-long sand dune in Utah. Is it in Utah? Or Arizona?
Yeah, no, it's
right on the edge.
I think it's in Utah. But you go through Arizona, Utah, and then you're back in Utah again, and so it's a little confusing. But we ended up overnighting there at the state campground. It is Easter weekend. We were really lucky; they had one site left. We took it, and it's died.
Oh, we almost made it. We only had Take 2. Our battery died. Thank God we had a second battery. Okay, and we were 1 day from being caught up.
I know.
Anyway, we'll splice that. We won't even say this. Okay, so we woke up in
the pink coral
sand dunes,
and
6 a.m.
6 a.m. and decided to get out. It is a huge ATV area. If you're not interested in listening to the ATVs go by your campsite, then as soon as you get up, make your coffee and get. So that's
6 a.m.
So we were out the door, or out the, we don't have a door, on the
road.
On the road, there we go. We're on the road and headed up, and this is where we had to make a decision because there's a couple different ways to come up. We had come down through
Mexican Hat
on our way
down
in Moab, and this way we decided we were going to come up and go through
Capitol Reef,
Escalante, Capitol Reef areas, and Bryce. You're on the outskirts of Bryce, but because it is a holiday weekend, we had no interest in being in a national park. Even on the outskirts, there was lots of people everywhere. So we just kind of like did some stopovers, did little brief things. Both of us have traveled this area before. And then we drove through the Capitol Reef area this evening.
Oh wait, where do we stop for lunch?
Oh, lunch! I love this place. Go ahead. You're doing so good.
Lunch. If you're ever in central Utah, you go to this place.
Boulder, Utah.
Hell's Backbone Grill in Boulder, Utah. Gourmet, delicious, farm to table. I don't think it's showing up. Farm to table food, exquisite. Like you won't believe you're getting that kind of food out in the middle of Utah.
It's pretty delicious. They do breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but they do take a break in the middle of the day, so you might want to call just to make sure.
They're closed from 2 to 4.
Yeah.
We made it there at 1 o'clock.
Yeah, and they treated us amazing, so we loved it there. And so then we drove through Capitol Reef, which is actually one of my personal favorite national parks, because we didn't even go into the park because at the visitor center there was hardly any parking. There were so many people, which was unbelievable to me because I've never been to Capitol Reef when there was hardly any people. So holiday weekend, so again we're like, okay, we're gonna boondock, and so we just drove through is it Highway 25?
I don't know.
We can't remember what road we're on. Well, we're gonna map it though. We'll show you on the map. And we found this great spot out in the desert again. I think this theme of this vacation, or this part of our journey, has been how much we love the desert. And
It's because there's space, I think, and you know, there's privacy and space and beauty, but it's no.
And great weather in the spring. So
it's about 72 degrees right now, and we're fixing to go back into the snow. Well, it doesn't have the temperature, but it's all day. It's been hovering in the 70s, and we heard. Well, we can see snow in the mountains again, so we're starting to get a little panicky. But
yeah, we went through Bryce, and I'm like, oh, what's that white stuff?
Yeah, the first snow we saw was around Bryce. And,
so we're heading back. Lewis has some issues to take care of with his hand. He's going to have a little procedure done and need a little recovery, and then we're going to be back out on the road and sharing our good times on Instagram at VanGoNow, and things will get better when we have a little Wi-Fi and can share our photos and videos with you.
Plus, things are going to get a lot better when we start processing photos and videos. Instead of just putting them on a hard drive, things are going to get so much better.
Yeah.
You're going to love it.
You're going to love it. And just remember, we're VanGoNow, VanGoNow. And we were going to just quickly talk about how we don't care about what we look like anymore.
Oh, yeah.
We're making a video, and we haven't had a shower in a few days.
Okay,
so.
I moved it because I wanted them to see this beautiful thing. But anyway,
Are you going to talk about me?
Yes.
Yes.
But I said, we have to do this video. We've been talking about doing this recollection video since about halfway through the thing. It's like, let's recollect, otherwise we're not going to remember any of it. So tomorrow is the last day of our 30-day adventure, and we haven't done it. So I said, well, let's do it. And Renee says, we can't, because we look like hell. And I'm like, this is part of the video. We have to put in there that when you're, the thing about living out of a van and just being out like this is, that's not an issue anymore. I mean, you want to see, there's some hygiene issues, but in general, how you look is not a concern. At least it isn't to me.
Boy, do you treasure a shower when you get one.
And you really like a shower when you get one.
And we have a shower, but we don't really want to waste our water and our energy to do that. So, we just do like the little cleanups. But I did put this shirt on today, and I did smell it to make sure it was okay. So here we are.
Yep.
And we're okay with that. And Lewis is going to take a nap now because he drove a lot today. And
so, anyway.
VanGoNow. Check us out on Instagram, and soon we'll have videos up on YouTube for you too. So, anyway, take care, and best wishes from both of us.
And now, a nice party desert shot scene.
It's so quiet.